Hey guys, we're back to resume the content of the last lesson. In the last lesson, we started preparing our theme for translation. We called the function that enables translation the load theme text domain function, and I also explained to you the two main getText functions we're gonna use in this lesson: the _e used for HTML content, and the double underscores used only for PHP content. Now we have to scan file by file in order to apply the two functions to the translatable strings. Fortunately, despite the amount of files we already have in our theme, these files are not that big, so we can easily find code snippets that we have to change. And I'll start precisely with these two files, the 404.php file and the functions.php, two files that we also have in our theme. I'll show in detail the first changes made to the 404.php file, and you'll see the changes I'll make to the rest of the files, but at a faster speed, right? The idea is to show the process itself. Since it's a very repetitive process, it is not worth spending the whole lesson explaining the same thing. So let's start with the 404.php file. The first string we can insert into a translation function is the one inside the h1 heading tag. To do this, let's cut out this text, open the PHP tag here, and let's use the _e function. The first parameter we passed is the string to be translated. So let's put back the text we have removed here. And the second parameter is the text domain of the theme, which will always be fancy-lab. Look at that, we need to show the content that will be translated on the screen. So I have to use the _e function, okay? So this string is ready to be translated into any language in the future, right? If he wants to, our little friend from China, remember him, can already translate it. Let's do the same thing now for the paragraph just below. A very important tip, never include the HTML tags inside the string, okay? The translator doesn't always know what these tags mean. If you leave HTML in here, you run the risk of having all the HTML tags deleted or ignored, or even modified by the translator, which is not good. And this last text is not HTML. This text is something that is inside a PHP code. So it doesn't need to be displayed on the screen, but only returned to be saved as an array argument. In this case, we will not use the _e function, but we will use the double underscores function. Okay? Okay, we don't have anything else in this file. Let's save. And now it's a translatable file. Check it out, it's not that complicated. Now let's do the same thing in the functions.php file and in the other files too. I'm gonna start making the changes with you guys. So watch this. From here up, we don't have anything that can be translated. But we have this text, which is the name of the menu in the administration. This text can really be translated into any language, so we need to put it inside the translation function. In this context, it just needs to be returned. Only later will it be shown on the screen, more exactly in the menu manager, but not here, okay? Here it's just an argument of an array. So let's go. Since it's PHP code and just needs to be returned, it has to be inside the double underscores function. This is also a menu name. Let's do the same thing. We don't have anything here. But here below we have several texts that belong to our widget areas. Let's get them ready for translation too. The idea is the same as the menus. Well, I'll speed up the video, okay? I don't think it will be a problem, since you see the same thing being done over and over again. Of all the files we have in the theme, I'll just keep those files we copied from other places. In the next lesson, you'll understand why, okay? As I'm gonna speed up the video, I think it will be very difficult for you to code and watch the video at the same time. So first, watch the video and then you go back and try to write the code yourself, okay? So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, here I'm gonna use the Emmet extension to speed up my work. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna hold the Control or Command key on the Mac. Click here and here. Add a space. And I'm gonna hold again the Control key or Command. Click here and here. Add a comma. And then paste the text domain. And I'm gonna do the same for the rest of the file. Nothing to translate here in this file. Let's move on to the next one. First tip, try not to include spaces along with the translation strings. Second tip, in this case I'm not going to include the colon. I'll leave them out of the translation string, so the translator has only to worry about the text. Try not to include unnecessary characters next to the translation strings, okay? This also includes white spaces before or at the end of the string. Another thing I noticed is that I forgot to call this has category function here. So let's do it now. finally we reached the last file. We had a lot of work, but our theme is almost entirely translatable. One tip I'll give you is this: try to do all this work from the beginning. Have you started a new project now? Then start doing this process that I showed you. Never leave it everything to the end like I did now. Do it little by little as you create each file. I just left everything to the end for teaching reasons, but you don't have to do it like me, okay? You can, if you want, copy everything I did in the files that are available for download, so that you don't have to do all this work. But I recommend that you try to do at least a little to learn, okay? Well, what was missing? We just need to go through the files that we have copied from other places. For example, the WordPress native theme files. In the next lesson, I'll show you some particularities about these files, and I'll show you what we need to do with them. So, until then, guys.